All right.
Welcome back to part 3 of the Dresden Files.
There's more of them than we thought.
It's
But they're
awesome.
still worth a read, especially since they're great.
I mean, if you can't tell, we're obviously really excited about them.
Our next one, Turncoat.
Remembering the wardens of
Morgan.
the White Council. Yeah, Morgan, who basically was Harry's parole officer and wants nothing better than to see Harry brought to justice, which in Morgan's mind is to behead him. Because, there's no jail in the White Council. It's you're either dead or alive. You're good or you're bad. There's really nothing in between, which Harry often is in between.
Yep.
So, Morgan basically begins the book by knocking on Harry's door, rolls in wounded, and goes, "Help me! They're coming."
As the story progresses, it turns out that Morgan has been framed with assassinating one of the high mucks of the White Council. And Harry's like, no, not Morgan. Can't be it.
Yeah.
As the story progresses, it becomes clear that the White Council has been infiltrated by somebody else.
Harry starts calling it the Black Council because they're basically operating behind the scenes and they're doing stuff that is not good politically and, good for anybody. We meet the Merlin. The Merlin is the elected head of the White Council. He is not the actual Merlin.
Although the actual Merlin is canon.
Real. And basically set up the White Council. But, so it's basically your kind of, almost banana court of who's elected and who's not and who's in power and who gets to vote against a certain amount, and all of the White Council wizards have a say, but it's not as high up as the guys who are elected to the higher up table, I guess is what you want to say. But we get a little bit more involved with Ebenezer, who is Harry's mentor after he kills Justin de Morn and is under the sword of Damocles. We meet up with a bunch of the other council wizards. We've got Martha Liberty, we've got Listens to Win, we've got the Gatekeeper. A lot of these folks are pretty much either for or against Harry. The ones that are for just always kind of have that enigmatic smile and more things are coming to you, young sir. Stop being an ass.
The book ends with Morgan. Oh, they catch the guy on the inside of the council. Morgan says Morgan ends up dying. The Merlin says, nope, we're going to pretend that Morgan is the one responsible because right now the last thing we need is anyone to know that the White Council is weak. This is one that leaves a bad taste in just like...
Yeah, it's...
The good guys
where we start
win,
getting political.
but it's not,
Which is interesting, and Harry's growing a little bit as a wizard and as a man, so that's always nice to see. All right,
next
moving on.
Changes.
Changes! You might want to have a couple drinks while reading this one. Susan.
This one starts,
back. So reading the first sentence, chapter 1. I answer the phone and Susan Rodriguez says, "They've taken our daughter."
This is the first time we've heard that Harry has a daughter.
Susan has basically run off to South America. She joins a counter cult, which is basically all of the half-turned vampires who work together to keep that vampiric nature under control and not fully turn. She doesn't tell Harry that when she ran away she was pregnant, and she doesn't tell Harry that she gave the young girl away to a family to raise her to try and keep her safe. Needless to say, Harry is pissed to hear this news. However, Harry, with his family being so important, will move heaven and earth to rescue his young daughter.
Over the course of the book, Harry ends up getting his back broken and makes a deal with Mab, Queen of Air and Darkness, to become the Winter Knight.
Needless to say, Mab's kind of been after him for the last couple books, going, I know I'm going to get you soon. It's just going to be a matter of time. You'll take the offer you can't refuse.
Yep. So Harry makes his deal going, once I've rescued my daughter, I am yours. I will be your Winter Knight.
Imbuing Harry with lots of power, so he's able to overcome his injuries by basically ignoring them and moving forward.
Let's see. Who do we have in this?
We kind of have a little bit of
Yeah,
everybody
this
who's
is
ever done Harry before.
everyone that Harry's ever helped ends up being in this book.
Yeah, Thomas comes, Murphy's there, Michael's there, Michael Carpenter with his sword.
No, Michael is out of commission at this point.
Michael does get out of commission, but the swords do come to the stronghold in, I'm going to horribly mispronounce
Chichen Itza?
Chichen Itza!
I think.
In Mexico, because these vampires are also somehow connected to the Mayans. Basically read human sacrifice, lots of blood, eating stuff. They are going to kill Harry's daughter in a curse that will basically wipe out a back curse through all of her relatives. Which is when we find out that Harry is actually related to Ebenezer McCoy, his mentor.
Is that when we know that?
I think so, because he figures out that if it kills him, it's going to kill Susan, Harry, and Ebenezer.
We'll check on that.
We'll check on that. However, that's a pretty big spoiler, but we're kind of getting near the end of the series, so
yeah,
I think you would have figured that out by now.
Susan, at the very end of the book, the sacrifice is about to go down. Susan ends up... Susan and Harry are put in a situation where Harry can kill Susan and have the curse go up the chain of the vampires. But in doing so, Harry kills Susan. Susan says, do it.
Do it.
Harry does it. And the entire Red Court is wiped out.
So this huge balance of power is suddenly just gone.
Mm-hmm.
So these people, who were horrible, evil people, but that balance is suddenly vacuumed out.
The book ends with Harry about to go off to become Mab's knight. He asks Murphy out on a date, which is something that we've been wanting for since, book one for me.
Yeah, they're perfect.
Murphy says yes. Harry goes away, puts on a shirt to go out, and ends up getting shot in the chest, falling into Lake Michigan, dead. That's how this book ends.
Yeah. But Mouse does talk in this book. Yes, the dog talks.
But Harry is dead.
But Mouse.
Next up.
Side job!
Series of short stories that it's interspersed throughout all of the books prior to now.
So don't start with this one.
This is a terrible book to start with. It's a great book to read.
Are fun, but
when you get to changes, read Side Jobs. It's great.
Lots
It fleshes out the story a little bit more.
Things, yeah. A lot of it was written for compilations, magazines, etc., and so forth. So it's Butcher having a lot of fun going, hey, yeah, remember back there? Yeah, this makes sense now.
Ghost Story.
Not my favorite book. I hate it when characters die. But
Harry's a ghost. He's sent back by Uriel to find out who killed him.
And also Karen Murphy's dad, who used to also be in special investigations in Chicago PD, who they kind of tiptoe around it, but yeah, he might have committed suicide.
No, they don't tiptoe around it.
They do blatantly say that, don't they?
Well,
yeah. Anyway.
We have no reason to think he didn't.
Exactly. So he's kind of working on the back end, and he gets to have this lovely conversation with Harry, and then kicks him up front and says, don't tell Karen you saw me.
Other important things that happen in Ghost Story. Turns out that Harry had hired a supernatural hitman to kill him at the end of Changes so that he wouldn't become Mab's knight. And he had Molly mind wipe him for it.
Which is not done good things to Molly's psyche, if you can imagine. Also, the Four More have moved into town, so when the Red Court vampires disappear, this brings in a new superpower, basically. These are sort of ocean-based creatures who basically are wreaking havoc and pain to Chicago and its surrounding environs. The Paranet's working really well, of everyone banding together. The Wardens, however, are overworked, including Carlos Ramirez, who we met a couple of novels ago. Good, solid guy, etc., and so forth. But yeah, Harry's a ghost. We
the big reveal.
A little bit more of Bob in there, which Bob the Skull. He's a spirit of intellect.
The big reveal at the end is that Harry's only been mostly dead.
Have to go through his pockets and look through loose change.
Turns out he's been on Demon Reach. Mab was able to figure out what he was doing. The Isle of Demon Reach went, you're not allowed to die yet, so the two of them kind of are in cahoots, and it ends with Harry realizing that he's going to be the Winter Knight, whether he likes it or not. bringing us to Cold Days. Harry's training as the Winter Knight. It's crazy.
Which basically begins with Mab trying to kill him in every single possible way that she can.
There's a crocodile with an alarm clock.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. The She of Winter hate Harry. He's a mortal who's been brought into their world, and he tweaks their noses as much as he can. Yeah, we got the red cap in here.
Yep. Harry is... I'm trying to... He's sent back to Chicago, and I'm trying to remember why. Why is he initially sent back to Chicago?
I honestly haven't.
Oh, yeah. The book starts with the Queen of Winter, Mab, going, "Hey, Harry, guess what? I've got your first job for you. Kill my daughter."
Right, because Maeve, the Winter Lady, is more psycho than Mommy, which is really scary.
Yeah, so Harry freaks out, heads back to Chicago, finds Bob. Bob goes, "I mean, they're immortal on every night except Halloween?"
Because remember that veil being really thin at that night.
We find out that Maeve has been taken by the Black Council through magic. I mean, it's part of the book series. God, so much bad happens in this book.
She tries to convince Harry that Mab's the one who's been disease-stricken, which actually ends up with her and the Summer Lady are the ones who are
in cahoots,
cuckoo and bananas and out of their minds, basically. We end up back on Demon Reach for the big kabloom.
The Winter Lady dies. The Summer Lady dies.
Mab kind of has a backup daughter, which she didn't really let anybody know about.
Who becomes the Summer Lady.
She was slating to be Winter Lady, except oops, she gets to be sucked into Summer Lady job. Molly suddenly becomes the Winter Lady, and yeah.
Other important stuff. Harry avoids Maggie like the plague, his daughter.
Doesn't think he's good enough to be around her, to be her dad.
Yep. Him and Murphy end up doing the "I love you, but it's complicated," which I don't have thoughts on that are strong.
Stuff starts to get fun and complicated.
Cold Days. Skin Game.
So until recently, the last full novel of the Dresden Files.
Mab goes to Harry, hires him out to the Knights of the Black and Denarian for a bank job. They're going to rob Hades, Lord of the Underworld.
Yay!
For the Shroud of Turin, the Crown of Thorns, and
they're mostly going
the
after
Spear
the
of
Holy Grail.
Longinus.
They're going after the Holy Grail. That's the basic.
That's right. Yeah. No, Shroud of Turin was something else.
The dude wants.
Things that are important in this book.
Harry meets the Genowaska, and it basically almost kills
Harry
him.
meets the evil Genowaska.
Evil Genowaska.
Evil Bigfoot.
Evil Bigfoot. There are good Bigfoot. Big.
Harry and Murphy hook up. Yoo-hoo!
Murphy gets seriously injured by the head of the Knights of the Black Denarian, which basically kicks her out of the job. But she's pretty badly injured, which enables Michael to come forward and take her place to be Harry's backup as they invade Hades. Michael was injured in the last book.
It was before then.
Before then, somewhere around in there. But Michael's pretty badly injured, so he basically retires from being a Knight of the Cross, which means there's only one, and Harry's now in possession of both swords. Michael is able to overcome his injuries and step in as Harry's right hand by Uriel, the Archangel, going, "Here's my grace." And oops, that means I'm mortal, so don't mess this up, because that means I could die.
Other important stuff. I mean, this book is...
I love it. It's all over the place.
I would argue this is the best written one so far that I've read.
It's very well written.
Lots of plot turns that, I mean, we could spend an hour talking about just this book.
Yeah.
Other important stuff to know.
Really
Butters.
So, yeah, kind of again. So remember how we've said there's only one Knight of the Sword left, and it's Sonya. Butters, Waldo Butters, if you remember him from our Tyrannosaurus Rex days, he is the medical examiner who loves Polka. Polka will never die. and he inexplicably becomes the second knight.
Not
of the
inexplicably, it's very
Cross.
explicable.
Yeah, but it's wonderful. I didn't see it coming.
That's very
Did
true.
not see it coming, so
Yeah.
that's what I meant by that.
Very much a surprise.
The sword, which was broken, so we thought, its powers are gone, in Butter's hands becomes a lightsaber. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So this was last published in 2000.
And Harry and Maggie connect. His daughter in this
yeah.
one. There are like repeated moments that will make you cry when you read this.
It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Mouse is Maggie's guardian. He is her emotional support dog, which is great.
Last full novel that came out.
Published 2014. So
Yeah.
It's been 6 years since we've had a full novel.
And the other one is Briefcases, which is short stories.
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Very important. We have 3 Bigfoot stories.
We have Bigfoot. We have
We have a little bit of a backstory.
we
on
have Fistful of
Anastasia,
Warlocks, which is basically let's have like Wyatt Earp and magic. Which yes,
was really cool. A little bit more of Kemmler in there as well. The last story will make you cry.
Yeah, Zoo Day. It's very much an almost got him
Yeah.
kind of storyline where it's the same story told from 3 different points of view. Very wonderful.
It's
very
told
sweet.
from Harry, Maggie, and Mouse's perspective, and it's beautiful.
We also get a little bit of Molly in her new role as the Winter Lady, which is just terrifying.
Yeah. The winter
It's not good.
fairies are not ones you mess with.
And I would ask her, like, how bad does it get in the next book? I'm not going to ask because I'm about to start reading them. So. Do I need to go la 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 la?
All I will say,
La, 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 la.
all I will say is, thank goodness, Jim Butcher, you announced you were releasing 2 books this year. If you didn't, there'd be a lot of people having words with you. Yes, I read Peace Talks today in about 7 hours, and I can't wait for September 29th. So, yeah. Anyway, you can take your hands off your ears. That's the Harry Dresden files.
Yep.
So, if you haven't read them, and if you
Jim
have
Butcher,
watched all of this,
they're fun. Don't watch the TV show. Don't
watch
watch
the
the
TV
TV
show.
show. But do read the books.
do read the books. They're lovely, they're fun, they're wonderful.
Yeah.
And if you can't tell, we're fans. Thank you, Jim Butcher.
Thank you. Bye-bye.